Grandparents sometimes don't want the money to go to their children. They want it to go to the grandchildren. So the thing I like about the education bond is you can actually, like a life insurance policy, you can control and direct where the money goes. So you can say, okay, I want this amount of money to go to this grandchild, and I want them to be able to access the money when they hit 21, and they can also add, it's to buy their first property. So there's a lot of control that the grandparent maintains when they set up the bond. So I really like the fact that we can do that.
I'm glad you mentioned the control and flexibility that an education bond strategy can offer. But when things don't go to plan, how can you also use an education bond strategy in terms of the flexibility it can give in maybe a little bit more of a complex scenario?
Unfortunately, marriages do end. Sometimes after the separation, the estate planning is sometimes overlooked. Either they have their ex-spouse as their beneficiary, or they change it to their child, but that child is an adult and they're not aware that there's a taxable component that is in their super that the child will be responsible for paying taxes on. So when reviewing that scenario, I find that there are strategies we can implement to assist them in having a more tax-effective way of passing on the wealth. And sometimes that includes the education bond. One purpose could be, okay, they separate, but it's amicable, and they can say, okay, let's put this fund for our child or children to make sure that this is separate, and we've set this aside for them, and there's no arguments on that. And then the other part is, okay, I do want to make sure that my child is taken care of, and the education bond is a tax-effective way to pass on money as well. So it's not just for education. There's so many other uses for the bond that, when during the discovery process, okay, well, the priority is education, but there's also this and that. So what's the best solution that I could implement for the client that kind of gets them to where they want to be regardless of what happens? So the multi-generational aspect is just as important as the immediate needs of the client, and that just kind of falls into place with the conversations that we have, and it becomes part of the whole plan as well. So
thank you for sharing that multi-generational aspect, so important.